So like I literally turned into a different person. I had his name was Tyrone Smith, and I talked about this in DBT. Like I kind of like came to the conclusion that my anger took over so much that I had to split from reality, and I just became that person. My mannerisms. He was a black slave from. I mean, it was, and my whole mannerisms changed, and it was. Yeah, talking about it's like really embarrassing, but I mean, it happened, and it was really scary for my friend and bishop, but the bishop used the priesthood, and and it like went away. It was, so I'm grateful for the priesthood, and um, but that luckily has only happened uh, one or two more times since December, and my therapist said that DBT, you can just call that anger. You don't have to give it like a name, like Tyrone Smith. You don't have to give it. It's just like, oh, my anger's coming up. How do I deal with this? Okay. And then just suppress it, lower it by doing different skills. And so my mind has been able to not have that issue. So, and that's the only time before or since that's ever happened, like in public where because I was at a doctor's appointment and it happened, and at just like a family doctor, and he saw it. I mean, this is like, it was real. And I would get out of that trance, and then I would curl up in a ball and I'd start crying, and I came back to me, and it was just like, it was crazy. It was really intense. So like I knew I was me, but yet I wasn't. It was just like, I was like watching it from the outside. It was just like, it was creepy. I didn't like it. And yeah, I think a lot of things were happening. Like my friend was getting married. I was like getting a new bishopric. I was changing therapists. So all these like new things were happening, and so I kind of just like got to a point where I just like, and maybe even the medication did have, but I don't know. It just happened and it happened, and I was just like, yeah, it was, yeah. And I've had in 2012 when I got rebaptized, I had another mental breakdown where I was paranoid, I had grandiose ideas, like the cops were involved, like it was that intense, and yeah, so it was, luckily I'm still here, but it was pretty intense, and yeah, so it just, my anger, just like my emotions, they just went off track, and I turned into that other, like split for, yeah, I guess that's all I can, like, yeah, that's all I can really remember. And yeah, well, like for a couple months before that I had a name for that like entity, and then it just came out like in public, and I was just like, I mean, I talked to my dad, I think I talked to my aunt on the phone like that, and then I talked to my bishop and my friend, and then my doctor saw it, and then when I was in the hospital, uh, this is what kind of bugged me. A tech, I was watching Cinderella Man or something, and then I was at my desk, and I was just like writing in my room, and it's like, oh, how are you doing? And I was kind of like irritated, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then he goes away, and then probably like 30 minutes later, they said, oh, you have a guest. And then I started acting like Tyrone, and I just was like, just swearing, and I was just like, I was getting pretty intense, and the tech says to me, stop faking it. And I'm like, and then I was like, what? And I was like, and then I started to go after him, and then like the security had to come. And then I crawled up like a little baby on the floor and started crying. And I'm like, I'm not faking. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to, like, why would I want to do that in a hospital? Like, why would I want to make it worse for me if I'm trying to get out? Like, why would I make that up? So for a tech to say that to somebody that's going through that, they need to not do that. And I went to Utah Valley, and I said, and I went in a very nice, polite manner. I said, this tech, I don't think that's really appropriate for him to say that when I'm in that intense. He doesn't know my history. He doesn't know, he's known me for an hour. And he said, and fortunately I told the techs in the morning, he's like, oh, we've had problems with him. And I forgot the guy's name, but, I'm not trying to like get him fired, but it's just like, I think even inside the mental health community, people need to be more understanding. Like, yeah, you might not have this, and you might think they're faking it, but I wasn't faking it. I mean, they put me in a white room, and I was like punching the wall, and I was not me. Like, if you saw me, it wasn't me, and it freaked. And then they had put needles and tranquilizer, which is fine. Like, they were doing their job, but comments like, "Oh, stop faking it," it's not going to help somebody like when they're already like freaking out and paranoid. So that's why we're there, to get help, and you're telling us that we're faking it. So yeah, honestly, it's just like it'll just go away, and I'm just like, what the heck? It literally feels like something's leaving my body. It's the weirdest thing. And what my doctor did, the family doctor, which I loved, is when he saw me start going into that, he's like, "Jim, okay, I'm going to come back when Jim's here." And he'd leave the room, and then he'd come back. And then I'd be like on the floor crying. And then so I guess just kind of step back and just like, okay, and like talk very politely, and kind of, that's what I remember him doing. So, and it's hard. I know it's so, and just embarrassing talking about this, but hey, it's fine.